we got a lot of football left.
Yes, and we have the Jersey Sports Final coming your way. More from Mr. Underwood at Rutgers Football. Please, we're being polite, please join Brian Dean Novellis tonight on the Jersey Sports Final beginning at 10:30. Brian's guest tonight, Chris Melvin of Elite Recruits, as they discuss the top high school football players in New Jersey. On the eve of the season, we'll have our initial top 20 coming up this time. Oh, man, we got all kinds of stuff.
He's not a part-time player, and I don't think you can, play the way he's played and get the accolades that he's gotten by being part-time mentality. So, he's intense, and he's going to will us to do well.
Will being the operative word here, because no one opposes his will more on high school defenses than St. Peter's Will Hill, New Jersey's #1 high school football player in the class of 2008. However, Will Hill would be the first to tell you he can care less about personal rankings. The only #1 that Hill wants to be associated with this season is the #1 team in New Jersey. But while we're talking about ranking New Jersey high school football players, who better to talk to than Chris Melvin of EliteRecruits.com. Chris, welcome back to the program.
Welcome to be here once again.
And here's the cover of your BigTime magazine right behind us, and Will Hill right on the cover, and rightfully so. Talk to me about Will Hill. I mean, we've been talking about Will Hill since his sophomore year. He's been quarterback in St. Peter's Prep. What makes him so special? What makes him #1?
Impact player. There's a lot of athleticism. He's 6'3", 210 pounds, with 4.4 speed. The fact that he can play anywhere on the field and be an impact player is scary. I mean, he can play safety, he can play corner, he can play quarterback, he can play tailback, throw him at receiver, and see what he can do. And he's just a phenomenal ball player.
Yeah.
That sums up Will Hill. It's real.
We see him here at quarterback, and most of the plays we see him at right now are making plays at quarterback, because he can beat you with his arm, he can beat you with his legs, but yet most colleges want him on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, if you look at the collegiate ranks, you have a lot of athletes that are phenomenal quarterbacks and running backs at the high school level. A lot of these players go both ways. Once they get to college, you're in the field and you're at practice with a bunch of athletes. Everyone's on the same level. I think he's going to be a defensive back, without a question in my mind. He's going to be a defensive back at the next level and be a stellar defensive back.
Now, another defensive back, #2 on your list. You love this guy as well out of New Brunswick.
Brandon Smith. Will Hill's a thrill. Brandon Smith is a hit. I mean, he's another every bit of 6'3", 215 pounds with 4.5 speed. And he's another player that's an impact ball player. I mean, he plays quarterback. He can line up at receiver, play corner and safety. He's right in the mode. If Will Hill has someone chasing him around his hill, it's Brandon Smith of New Brunswick, I must say.
Now, we've heard some rumbling, if you believe in rumors, Will Hill, maybe Florida is the team that is the leading school for his services. Whether or not that's the case remains to be seen. But a guy like Brandon Smith, I mean, are there any chances of him staying in state? Because Will made it clear he wants to go out of state.
Exactly.
Can Brandon Smith be a guy that stays in state and maybe goes to Rutgers right nearby?
It's a possibility. It's a possibility. Rutgers is recruiting him hard, just like they're recruiting a couple other teammates of his. But he's looking at Rutgers, and he's also looking at Wisconsin and a couple other schools. But can I say that Rutgers is one of the top schools on his list? I must say that they are. So look out.
All right.
Possibility.
All right.
Possibility.
Chris is very close to some of these guys. He's not going to reveal exactly where they're going. If he knows anything, he's certainly not telling us. But we'll try to get it out before this program. We'll work him a little bit. #3 on your list is look, I mean, you're talking some dynamite players in New Jersey this year. But Jack Crawford out of St. Augustine Prep is a guy that most people in North Jersey don't hear about because he plays in South Jersey.
It happens a lot. I scan the entire state. I'm not one-dimensional. Jack Crawford, he's getting recruited at 2 positions. One being defensive end and the other at tight end. I spoke to a school the other day. They love him at tight end. They said they're not recruiting him at DN.
Really?
Yeah. We offered him as a tight end. So he can go either way, but he wants to play DN at the next level.
And he's a kid that came over here to play basketball from England. Kind of scary. He's only been playing football for 1 year.
He's a baby. He's a 6'5", 245-pound baby, but this is his second year going and playing the sport of football, and I must say that he's raw at it, but he's a sensational athlete. He's also a basketball player. So he came over to play basketball, but his main focus and his main ambition now happens to be football. So let's look for him.
Hey, a lot of potential there.
A lot of potential.
J.B. Fitzgerald, a guy with a lot of potential out of West Windsor, Plainsboro South. He just recently announced that he's going to Michigan.
Yes, which it's because we have another player, another linebacker from the state of New Jersey, Marcus Witherspoon from Holy Spirit. He committed to Michigan probably 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay.
So that's 2. players from New Jersey going to Michigan.
We don't usually hear about Michigan coming over here too much.
No, but let's see what happens now since Appalachian State put something up. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not sure when it actually. Let's see what happens. We still have a lot of time before signing day.
We're going to talk about Rutgers recruits in a bit. Before we get to that, number 5 on your list is another guy who's out of Metuchen, right here in Central New Jersey. Very talented and a big wide receiver.
Skilled, great kid, hands. He also plays a heck of a game at defensive back. He's definitely going to go to Oklahoma as a receiver. I like DeJuan a lot. I like his character. I like his athleticism. I like everything about him. I like how he approaches the game. I like Tim Wright as well from Wall. So he's right on the heels of him.
All right, and 6 through 10, I mean, a pretty solid top 5 there, but looking at your 6 through 10, these are some guys that are also very talented. Tim Wright, Art Forrest, 2 guys, speaking of, going to Rutgers.
Exactly. Tim Wright, he's played tailback for Wall. He plays tailback, but he lines up in certain situations at receiver. He put on a show at the League College Combine this year and at the Rutgers summer camp. Rutgers saw him and were thrilled and offered him, and he's headed to Rutgers. I think he's going to be a huge impact once he gets up there next year.
And huge, obviously, Art Forrest there from Manasquan. I mean,
my top offensive lineman. Yeah, he's every bit of 6'7.5", and he's growing every day. So he may be 6'9" by the time this airs, but he's every bit of 6'7.5", 290 pounds, more 300. He wants to get out to 290 because he wants to stay nice and trim. But he's every bit of 300 to 290 range.
All right, some big boys down there.
He's a big boy. Yeah, he's a big boy.
Speaking of big boys, we'll talk about some more big boys when we return here on the Jersey Sports Final. More with Chris Melvin from EliteRecruits.com. We're going to talk about the underclassmen in New Jersey, beginning with a speedy tailback from Somerset County. We're talking high school football with Chris Melvin of EliteRecruits.com. And Chris, while we're talking about elite recruits, how about some of the in-state players who have given Rutgers a verbal commitment? Because right now, Scout.com has Rutgers the 25th best recruiting class in the country. We talked about Tim Wright, Art Forrest. How about Rashad White out of Teaneck, number 13 on your list, and a speedy, shifty back, maybe helping them next year?
Mr. Speed, that's what I call him, because that's what he's made of. I mean, he's going to add, once he gets to the collegiate level, he's probably going to add on another 20 pounds. But he has a lot of talent. He can play either corner, running back, receiver. Put him out there and let him do his thing. That's Rashad White. A lot of speed.
Yeah, we like him a lot here. He's scoring against Montclair. Is this a kid? I mean, he's small, but can he make it at 1A?
Without a question. You look at a couple other players on the Rutgers roster. He's just the same old. The kid Brown. You got Tim Brown up there. He's a small, but that's what Shiano loves. He loves impact ball players with a lot of speed, and that's what Rashad White brings from Teaneck. So expect a lot of highlights from Rashad.
All right, and you talked about Booker, and you talked about a couple of other guys on this list, and LeGrand, a couple of linebackers, speedy linebackers on this list, who we know Shiano likes speed.
Marvin Booker, I must say, he came on the scene at the League College Combine this past May. He lined up at DN, he lined up at linebacker, he went to the Rutgers summer camp, played corner against some of the top receivers in the country, and held his own. So that tells you what type of talent that Coach Shiano has coming up down the road from Piscataway High School.
All right.
So he has a lot of talent.
Speaking of
friends with Anthony Davis.
See that? A little tie in there.
I'm not sure that had anything to do with it, but believe me, he's a special talent. I love Marvin Booker.
All right.
Expect him to raise the level of his game and expect him to be higher than what he is on my chart right now.
All right.
He's gonna raise.
Maybe a rising senior.
Definitely a rising senior.
Underclassmen. When you talk about the underclassmen in the state, who's number 1 at the top of your list of juniors to look out for this year?
It's a couple of them. I like Theo Riddick from Immaculata. He's a kid who wows you at running back. If you look at his acceleration, his vision, his quickness, he's just a pure talent out there in the football field. I like Carlo Calabrese, hard-nosed throwback linebacker. Also plays tight end, some of the best hands you ever see. But he's a hard-nosed linebacker, and that's where I think he's going to line up at the next level.
All right, couple of guys and how about Nysher Oliver?
Special talent at corner. If you had him in the class this year, this is a huge year in New Jersey for the class of 2008 at the receiver and DB position. If you had him in this class, he'd be one of the top 10 corners. And that's scary because there's a lot of phenomenal corners in this class of 2008. So I expect Nysher to have a great year this year and expect him to have a lot of offers come this upcoming season.
All right, we've been talking about Big Time magazine. For those of you who'd like to purchase a copy of it, it's easy. You have 2 websites. Either you can go to EliteRecruits.com or ChuckMound.com. Big Time can be yours, big time. And Chris, we're out of time here, so listen, thank you as always. Looking forward to a great year of high school football. We'll see you out there because I know you work the state hard.
Always.
All right, Chris Melvin, EliteRecruits.com. Thank you.